band workout for triathletes with me, Coach Becca. Hey guys, Coach Becca here. Thanks for joining me. Today you're going to need a resistance band. I'm just using a moderate band with handles. And then I'm also going to be using a circular TheraBand or physio band. And we're going to actually start with that TheraBand. So let's put that around the ankles. And again, this is a triathlon-specific band workout. However, you don't need to be a triathlete to have benefited from this. All right, soft knees, soft hips, and here we go. We're just gonna take a big step out, little step in for 45 seconds. So big step, little step there. And I'll show you from the side just so you can kind of see that soft, slightly bent hip, slightly bend in the knees. This one's just, again, strengthening the glutes, kind of waking everything up. Some people have made up a good point lately that activate your muscles is kind of a strange terminology because your muscles are never on and off. So I'm trying not to use the word activate because it's true. Your muscles are never like sleep or awake, but maybe you just finished a session like I did, or you're about to start one. This one can be a good way to wake up your mind and body. So we'll put it that way. But that's just some food for thought for you. Just make sure as you get tired here that you continue to take clean steps. And there we go. We're going to do a lateral band raise now. So level 1, go ahead and hold on to something to help you balance and stay upright as you raise the leg to the side. Level 2, you could probably do this without any balance. And I just placed my hands here on my hips as we're going to do 12 per side. But that helps me avoid leaning away from the foot that I'm raising, because when you lean away, that's essentially letting the muscles that we want to work out of the job. Okay, so this whole series is kind of, again, glute and hip mobility focus. So we're doing all the movements, or a lot of the movements of the hip here. Switch sides, and we'll just do 12 on the other side. Kind of a smooth tempo here, depending on the band that you're using. If it's really, really thick, it's going to be hard to raise your leg like at all. And if, conversely, if it's really light, you'll get a ton of movement. So this is a moderate band, so I'm getting somewhere in the middle. All right. Up next, we're going to do a banded high knees. So go ahead and just place the band around your instep. Level 1, again, hold on for support. We're going to do alternating here. All right. And then I'm just going to do level 2 with arms, runner arms, because again, this is a triathlon workout. So we're doing things that are specific to swim, bike, running. And even if you don't do triathlon, that's fine. You can still benefit from this. This is a hip flexion drill and also a stability drill, but it's done in a run specific or sport specific way. So we've got the opposite arm going, the elbows bent about 90 degrees. We're going eye socket to hip pocket as we raise that knee, pulling that heel towards the butt. We'll do about 20 of these total. You can feel that slight rotation through the trunk. As you lift up, kind of feel how the bottom of your body connects to the top when running. There you go. And it's one of my favorite form drills for running. Go ahead and pull the band up to just below the knees now. And we're going to do some trunk squats to build those quads. Cross the arms at the shoulders and drop it low for some squats here. And we'll do 20 of these because they're body weight, fairly easy. And again, we're kind of working muscular endurance, generally speaking, as triathletes. If you haven't checked out my in-season and out-season series yet, I'd highly recommend it. It's a series of 4 workouts that are kind of more specific to if you're in season and doing a lot of swim, bike, running versus out season where you're doing perhaps a little less volume and intensity and can do a little bit harder resistance training. So this workout you can do in season or out season, but I just kind of want to put a little asterisk by muscular endurance for triathletes because generally speaking, that is what we want to focus on, which means repetitions, 2 to 3 sets of 12 to 20 repetitions as a ballpark. All right. Talked you through those trunk squats. Nice job. We're going to take it down to the ground, and you can just keep the band right where it's at unless you need to make adjustments to get down to the ground if that's not, logistically easy for you. And we're just going to do 20 glute bridges with the band around the knees. So again, working hip extension now. So opposite of what the high knees worked. Glutes and core, breathing smoothly. Not a necessarily challenging exercise, but a really great one for injury prevention. Now, if you want to spice things up, do 5 with one leg straight. Again, the knees are apart there. So just kind of working a little bit harder, a little bit more stability. And then try the other side. No worries if you want to just do the full set with both feet down. And we're actually doing 10 per side of these. I'm sorry, so if you did 5 and 5, want to go back, that's fine. But glute bridges, awesome exercise for hips, glutes, core. Okay, clamshell, I'm going to show 2 levels. This is kind of level 1 in my, you might disagree, but this is with the knees bent, and it kind of like the knees are in line with the hips, maybe a little bit further down. Feet stay together, and then you just open and close at the knees. Personally, I know physical therapists love this exercise. I have never enjoyed this exercise. I don't find much benefit from it. So I'm going to show that as level 1. And then this one, I just feel a lot more as an individual. It's essentially the same movement of the hip, but with a longer lever. So side leg raise. You choose if you want to do the clamshell or the side leg raise. And let's just aim for 10 to 12 of those per side. You're just laying directly on your side for both of these. So whichever one you want, if you want to hit pause and kind of try both of them, or do one, try the other. I'll demonstrate it again on this side. Again, here's a clamshell. Notice how the feet are together, the knees are bent, you're bent at the hip. And then if you want to give the side leg raise a try, it's just my preference. Again, really similar movement of the hip, but I just like this one a lot more. It's pretty similar to the side leg raise that we did standing, to be honest with you. This way, maybe just a little different stimulus, but I don't think one can never do too much lateral movement or too much glute work when you're a athlete or just really a human being. I would say we could take it one further. Okay, banded plank walk. You're going to place the band around your wrists. You can do this kneeling or upright. We're not going to do a lot of reps because it's actually really hard, but it's really an awesome exercise. So you're going to step out with the left arm and then the right arm and then left arm and then right arm. Here's what it looks like full. So there's 1, 2, there's 3, 4, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, there's 9, and 10. Very good. So you should feel that just kind of between the shoulder blades and obviously in your core. So just a fun way to use the band, and we'll do another set of 10 when you're ready. Here's what it looks like from the front, so you can see how far apart the hands go. Tough exercise, so hang in there. Awesome job. Really nice. Okay, so we're done with the circle band, and we're going to pick up that resistance band with handles for the next set. All right, we're going to wrap that band around our hands a few times, and depending on how strong you are and how strong your band is, you might want more or less tension. And all we're going to do is start the band directly in front of our shoulders, right in front of us, and pull it apart. So you want enough tension so that when you're fully extended out to the side like that, you're getting a good workout, especially between those upper postural muscles, right between the shoulder blades. So try to really squeeze those shoulder blades as you pull that band apart. Try to time it with your breath. In some ways, it kind of reminds me of the cat and cow movement in terms of like the posture and the breath. So maybe make that connection if you're into that move. All right, now bring that band directly over your head and pull the band apart. Similar movement, exact same movement, but we're starting over the head instead of directly in front of the chest. So if you've ever done a lat pull down in the gym, it's that same exact movement, and we're just targeting those swim muscles. And we're also kind of working some of those cycling muscles that get a little stiff. We get a little rounded out, especially in the time trial position. So some of this is meant to help not necessarily counteract, but strengthen those muscles for when we do need to be in time trial position. So a lot of this coincides with swimming, cycling, and running, which is triathlon. All right, go ahead and unwrap that band from the hands. Step in, feet shoulder width apart. Depending on how strong you are, you might need more or less tension. Bring one arm to 90 degrees and complete curls on the opposite arm. Okay, so we're gonna do 10 to 12 on the one arm. Just check on that 90-degree arm, make sure that's staying static, working that muscle in an isometric is what that's called, so that muscle's under constant tension. If you can fit a few more reps in, maybe get closer to 15 if you've got a lighter band, that's fine. Okay, other arm, again, 10 to 12, maybe 15 if you've got a lighter band. I think this one is a great exercise for runners. I get a lot of my athletes telling me that their arms get tired while running, and it's because you're holding those arms at 90 degrees throughout your run. So bicep strength is something that I believe that you need as a runner, and I also think that it helps prevent shoulder injuries in swimmers. So sometimes we see tendonitis due to lack of bicep strength or sometimes overuse. All right, now both arms get to feel the burn, 10 to 15 curls with both arms now, depending on how thick your band is. Let me just show you that from the side. So it's important to keep those bicep muscles strong, and just to prevent overuse injuries in general, we want to make sure every joint and every muscle is strong and resilient, functional to our sport. Awesome job on the static bicep curl, one of my favorites, just for that reason of doing isometric and concentric eccentric movement. Okay, triceps, step one foot into the band. You get to pick the tension based on how much of the band you step on. Elbows up by the temple, and just like you're throwing a football, we're gonna do bend and straighten at the elbow joint for triceps overhead. Again, 12 to 15. If you've got a really thick cord, you might only be able to make it to 10. So just kind of make sure that that elbow doesn't get sloppy. Nice tall posture here. Triceps are really important in the follow through phase of your swim stroke. So I always try to work in triceps, and doing single arm and single leg type movements are really important as well for athletes, just in terms of improving your stability, improving your coordination. So again, here's what it looks like from the front on the other arm. Nice job. Try to think nice and tall here. You should probably be able to see that elbow out of your peripheral vision. Awesome work. All right, we're gonna do 2 sets of this with an exercise in between. So it's a split lunge press. Step one foot, the front foot, whatever side you're starting on, into the bands. You might be able to pull the bands to the shoulders. However, if they're really tight, you might need to do that little step in move there that I just showed. Be careful moving your foot around because that band can snap up at you. The handles go behind your shoulders. So at the top, you just drive the hands overhead into a press. So it's a split lunge, knee goes up, body goes up and down. If you can touch that knee to the floor, that's great. If not, that's okay too. So we're strengthening the quads, the glutes, and the shoulders here. A nice combination movement, split lunge to shoulder press. Let's just try to get to 10 here. Nice job. We're gonna do that same thing on the other side, but I'm gonna show you from the front, just so you can see that movement. Our body's going up and down, not like a normal lunge where you go forward and backwards. So lower down, press up, and the bands are behind the elbow. So if it feels awkward, just make sure that the band isn't in front of you. It's a variation you could try. I've always found it to be awkward. I just prefer the bands to be behind my elbows when I go into that press, but make it work for you. If your band is way too strong, you might want to just do this body weight or with some dumbbells. All right, we're gonna do rear delt flies in between. So I would only put one foot into your band to start out with, because this one's really tough, or put your feet together. Cross the handle so it makes an X. Drop the shoulders down so that they're in line or maybe just above the hips. And you're just gonna pull those bands apart, squeezing the shoulder blades, again, working those upper back muscles. If you swim butterfly, this is a great movement for you, but it's also just a really nice movement if you want to strengthen your posterior chain or the back side of your body. Keep that core strong, and I'm just going to try to get to 10 on this one because my band, this feels really strong to me. See how I can adjust my feet inwards just to make a little less tension. I can get a full range of motion there. And then we're gonna take a little break and just switch the arm that's on top, switch the handle. So if the right handle, you know what I mean, just switch that just so you get equal tension pull. I'm not sure if that makes a huge difference, but I'm somebody that needs to make sure I get pretty equal sides there. And we're just gonna do one more set of about 10. If you need to do 5 and take a break, that's fine. You've gotta work with how your body feels and the tension in that band. So again, squeezing between the shoulder blades, it's getting really tough. Hang in there, and we're gonna do our second and final set of the split lunge press. So again, set that foot up on the band, and we're just gonna knock out another set of about 10 per side. Again, if your band is a little thicker and you need to do a few less reps, and conversely, if it's a little lighter and you need to do a few more reps, that's fine. Hopefully I don't move too quickly between exercises. I usually give people really low rest on these, but you can always hit pause if you need to make that adjustment. Let's switch to the other side here. The split lunge is a really nice movement for cyclists too. I do work with cyclists and I do try to make them do this movement. Strengthening your quads is super important, and doing them in a way that is as similar to cycling as you can get, where, you know, one leg is always working sort of under a different load than the other, is important. So step ups, lunges, split lunges, squats, all those things are really important for cyclists. All right, for our last movement, I would like you to anchor the band to something sturdy, whether that's like a post, like sometimes I'll use the treadmill. You could have someone hold it for you as long as you trust them. And so you want to anchor to something very sturdy. Depending on your band, you can either tie it up, loop it through. Every band's a little different. I only have one handle here. I could choose to double it up. And all I'm going to do is keep my arms straight and rotate away from where it's anchored from. And I'm going to do 20 per side here because my band is moderate and I can usually handle quite a bit of load on the core rotation, but everyone's different. So if your band's super heavy, you might want to do 2 sets of 10 per side. This one is all about trunk rotation, core rotation. So keep those arms straight and rotate those shoulders, almost like you're trying to hide one shoulder behind the other. And we'll switch to the other side. Core and trunk rotation is an important movement just for any human, but specifically in swimming, I find it to be important. And also in running, we do get a little bit of trunk rotation, right? You can kind of feel your shoulders slide one in front of the other. And just as a human being, we need our spine to be mobile. Like the middle of your back, your thoracic spine, that's where a lot of rotation happens. And so a lot of people tend to get injuries when a certain joint loses its ability to rotate or function properly. If you can't get, flexion, extension, rotation, or whatever the function of that joint is, if you can't get that done, your body will just naturally kind of reroute that to plan B, and that's where we get overuse injuries and injuries in general. All right, nice job on the core rotations. Come on down to the ground, arms overhead or under your butt, and we're gonna do 50 flutter kicks total. The overhead is obviously much harder, but we're doing a swim-specific core movement here. Point those toes, and I'm just doing little kicks because I want to keep my kick nice and tight. That's something I've been getting a lot of feedback on. So I'm kind of doing some dry land to specifically mimic what I need to work on in the pool. So keeping those kicks tight, just going to do a set of 50. Hands can go under the butt too. So then we're just going to do one set of those. And then we're going to do cat and cow with a twist. So this is for all the cyclists out there. You're going to do cat and cow. Okay, but what we're going to do is just kind of a little tweak with our neck. So yoga teachers hide on this one. See how I lift my neck first and then drop in? That's to work on kind of that turtlenecking in arrow position. So big arch of the back, lift the head, and then drive through into, let's see, that would be cow. So cat, lift the neck, practice your TT position, cow. Pop the neck down, pull the arms down, pull the neck down. So cat, lift the neck, feel that turtlenecking, cow. Just a small change. It's like one of the only things I've done that can kind of build strength in my neck, or just check in on my neck and see how that arrow, TT, turtlenecking kind of position is. That's not necessary. You don't have to do that. But thanks so much for joining me, guys. Kind of a fast and furious one, but we got it in under 20 minutes, and I hope to see you next time.